Well, everyone, let's go and take a look at the iPhone 15 and compare it against the iPhone 12 and see which particular iPhone is a better one for you. Now, when it comes down to it, what I can definitely tell you is that I'm a big fan of both these phones. I think the iPhone 11 is one of those phones that is still a very interesting, good device to go and buy. And I think the iPhone 12 is also a really interesting phone too. Now, clearly the iPhone 15 is a way better phone and it's probably going to be the better phone for the next couple of years. Whereas I feel like with the iPhone 12, this is one of those iPhones that it's a little older. It was really good when it first came out, but it probably isn't necessarily worth buying at any high capacity anymore. But we'll take a look at all those things throughout this whole entire video. First things first, like I said, if you want to go and pick up either one of these phones, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these particular phones. The iPhone 12, which came out back in 2020, on the front side of this phone, is going to be giving you a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. Now, with this type of panel for the most part, it is a pretty good looking, phone. The display itself looks pretty good. I've always felt like these are pretty decent type of panels that you can go and buy and pick up. They're not necessarily really perfect, but I do think they get the job done for the most part. And if you're going to go through and pick up a device, like I said before, I really don't think these things are like too terrible. You're still going to be getting a pretty good display on it, 60 Hz on both these phones, but 60 Hz on this one. The notch up top can be a little annoying depending on who you are, but it may not be like the biggest deal in the world, but that could just be one other kind of small minor thing to kind of think about there from that particular situation as well. But I still think this is a pretty good looking phone. I think it still looks pretty good for the most part. It doesn't have the biggest amount of issues and I think it still looks good. The iPhone 15 is giving you the exact same size display. So it's still giving you the 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display here. It still looks pretty good. There's not really too many insane issues to kind of keep in mind here within this type of device, which is something I love. This one is a brighter panel, which is really good. You're getting a dynamic island too, which is also another really nice thing to have. Beyond that though, there's not really anything else like super insane within this device that we haven't already seen before. That's kind of one of those things to keep in mind here. But I would say like if you're going to go through up a device, this thing is still a really nice panel. But you can definitely tell that these phones are kind of lacking out on things like a higher refresh rate or anything like that. That is kind of where these phones end up kind of lacking a little bit here and there. But beyond that, I think these types of phones still hold up pretty well for the most part. But like I said, it would be kind of nice had these phones maybe stepped up a little bit when it came down to some of these other things, maybe like higher refresh rates. The iPhone 15 is also giving you a USB Type-C port at the bottom. The iPhone 12 is giving you a Lightning port. So that right there is kind of another really big difference too. Because if you're wanting the device that's going to be giving you better type of capability, well, something like an iPhone 15 with that USB Type-C port at the bottom is definitely going to be a really nice thing when it comes down to that side. On the back side, you're going to be getting a standard glass back on the iPhone 12. With the iPhone 15, you're getting a frosted glass back. So that right there is going to be another very big difference too. Because if you are wanting the device that is going to be giving you slightly better capability, well, you're going to have to keep in mind with something like the the iPhone 15, that device might end up giving you a little tiny bit better quality when it comes down to that type of device. So now when it comes down to the price tag situation, the iPhone 15 right now costs $699 brand new from the Apple Store. So if you walk inside of the Apple Store, you're probably going to be paying around $700 to go and pick up this device right now. The iPhone 12 is available in the used market all over the place. You can go and buy that phone really wherever they, sell used phones at, and you can buy it for maybe like around $200 and something. So that is kind of a decent price to pay for that type of device too. So, if you're wanting a cheaper phone, the iPhone 12 could offer you that type of value, especially from a cheaper, value per standpoint. On top of that, when it comes down to the cameras, the iPhone 12 is going to be giving you that dual camera setup on the backside. It's going to be a wide and an ultra wide camera. Same exact thing with the iPhone 15. So it's going to be giving you a wide angle camera and a ultra wide camera. The thing you have to keep in mind though is that with something like an iPhone 15, this camera is basically going to be giving you, it's going to be a 48 megapixel wide angle camera. So it is a higher megapixel count than the 12 megapixel one that's inside of the iPhone 12. So that right there is going to be a pretty big difference in and of itself too. Like if you are wanting the phone that's going to be giving you better capability there, well, something like an iPhone 15, once again, might end up giving you that type of capability when it comes down to it. You're still getting 4K at 60 on the front and the back of both these phones. So they're both roughly the same exact thing when it comes down to it from that side, which I think is fine. But if you are wanting the device that's going to be giving you slightly better capability, then maybe something like the iPhone 15 could end up giving you that overall better camera. On top of that, when it comes down to their software longevity, this is going to be a really big difference when it comes down to both of them. The iPhone 15 has a very high likelihood of pretty much outlasting the iPhone 12 by like 2 to 3 years. So there's a very high chance where if you're wanting to go and buy a phone that's going to be giving you the better capability here, while something like the iPhone 15 might end up being the one that's going to be giving you that longer lasting device. So that's kind of what just ends up happening here when you're going to go through and pick up a phone. I haven't really had too many issues for the most part of like software updates on these two phones, but they both share a similar kind of setback, which is that both these phones are lacking Apple Intelligence, but it doesn't really seem like anybody really cares about it that much anymore either. But that is kind of one of those things to kind of think about there, here and there, when you're going to go through and pick up one of these types of devices. So again, not the biggest deal in the world, but it is just one of those small little things to keep in mind there for the most part. On top of that, when it comes down to their batteries, the iPhone 15 is giving you an overall better size battery and better battery capability than the iPhone 12. The 12 wasn't always like the best type of battery when it came down to it. I thought it was okay and I thought it was good, but definitely the iPhone 15 is going to be giving you the overall better one here for the most part. So if you are wanting the device that is going to be giving you a better experience here, then definitely, without a doubt, in my personal opinion, the iPhone 12 is going to be the one that is going to be giving you the overall better experience when it comes down to it from that side too. So kind of keep that in mind as well. Now finally, when it comes down to the performance, the iPhone 12 is basically going to be giving you that type of, Apple A14 Bionic chip inside with 4 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 15 is going to be giving you that Apple A16 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 gigabytes of RAM. So once again, if you are wanting the device that is going to be giving you an overall better type of experience, like I said before, there's a pretty high likelihood that a phone like an iPhone 15 is going to be the overall faster one here. That type of device is going to be giving you a very good type of experience. It's going to be giving you a very good type of quality. And I do think that is kind of a really important thing to keep in mind here if you're going to go through and pick up a device. Because those types of devices are very, very good. Like you're still going to be getting like very fast, very good, capable phone. And it would make a lot more sense to go and kind of think about something like a, iPhone 15 in terms of performance and everything than an iPhone, 12. So in terms of that, that's kind of how I see this type of phone holding up. When I look at both these devices, that's kind of what I see. But I will still say, if you want to pick up a phone like an iPhone 13 or an iPhone 14 Pro or one of those types of devices, I think those ones will still be a very, very good type of device when it comes down to it too. But it just so happens that I do think there might be some better options out there for the most part. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.